You're listening to Mithril on FPI Radio 94.5. That track just there was by Italian, I want to say hard ambient artist Sin, SY/N, off of their EP Life Anew. Played probably my favorite track off of the EP called Where Dreams Collide. Sort of a really beautiful, sort of angelic, like vocal thing with like some noisier elements, which very, very beautiful. But it's time for a much anticipated interview with local noise legend Lucas Abela, who has a very, very exciting album coming out tomorrow with none other than Zach Hill of Death Grips, but also, just fantastic drummer in general. Lucas Abela, if you're not familiar, is a noise artist who makes quite a frenetic strain of noise, I would say, largely using sort of shards of glass, manipulated with the voice and running through like a modular setup for noisy modulations. Creates like quite a free, like just crazy impression that I love and sits quite well, I think, with Zach Hill's drumming. But the album's coming out tomorrow, Halloween, and I actually have Lucas Abela in the studio right now.
Hey, g'day.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about the album a little bit.
I'm really up this late.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry to drag you in, actually. So that's
no. It's all good. I'm not complaining. I've got an 8-year-old at home, and I've got to get him up at school in the morning. So I'm rarely out and about at this time of the night. So
Oh well, thank you for.
Made myself a coffee.
Oh wow, thank you. It's most essential. Well, thank you for coming in. Thank you for hopping on the show with that context in mind, especially.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm excited about the release, and I was just the other day. I was like, the release is about to come out, and I just kind of wanted to, I reached out because I wanted to talk to people about it because I was excited, and I was also slightly disappointed that no one in the Australia community radio scene had reached out to me saying, "Oh, this album's coming out on Warp Records. That's a momentous moment in your career."
It's huge.
I'm really stoked for it, and I can't wait to hear people's reactions to the record when it comes out. And I guess tomorrow, but probably UK time. It might be London time when it comes out on Halloween.
For sure. I guess I wanted to start by asking how the collaboration initially came about, because I know you guys have worked together before, but I mean it's quite a prolific link up. How did you guys meet and start making music together?
Oh, originally when Zach was touring with the Boredoms in 2010, I contacted Hisham from Black Dice to do some sideshows, and he and Zach said they were into it, but Zach asked me if I wanted to duo, and I said yeah, sure. So we did that set together a long time ago at Home Nightclub of all places.
Wait, the one in Sydney, at Lake Darling Harbour.
The one in Darling Harbour. I knew the guy running the place, and he let me do a couple of shows there. Like I didn't really fill the place or anything with the kind of stuff we were doing, but he was nice enough because he used to run the Palladium. I actually used to put on gigs there as well. Anyway, shoot ahead 7 years, and I'm touring through the States, and I've got a show in San Francisco, and I'm heading due, east, and Sacramento's in the path. And I remembered Zach lived there, so I didn't call him up. I emailed him and said, do you know anyone putting on good shows in Sacramento? I wouldn't mind playing a gig there. It's on my route. Blah, blah. And he said, nah, there's nothing happening here. Why don't you come and record with my band Death Grips? I said, sure. 7 years had passed, and Death Grips, I believe, started in 2012. So, and, my ear's not to the ground as much as it used to be, so I hadn't actually even heard Death Grips at this point. Or had any inkling of how successful they were, or how big in the underground terms they were. I still just thought of Zach as a kind of an underground drummer in the DIY world as much as myself. I didn't really think much of it besides, that'll be cool. I'll come in and record with him. I like the guy and we'll do it. That's how I ended up on the Year of the Snitch, I suppose. And I guess then lockdown happened, and during lockdown, because I used to use pedals and stuff, and I know if you see my show pre or post lockdown, you probably notice a difference. And the previous lockdown, the show's kind of ecstatic and short and burst and cathartic and all that kind of stuff. And then during the lockdown process, originally when I started to stream shows, that really wasn't working. It didn't make sense on a screen. Like what I did, I played a room essentially, not just the glass, the space, the whole thing. The audience around me also had a lot to do with how I approached performance, and I couldn't deliver that, through my computer camera or whatever it's called. So I started experimenting with my pedals and doing 6 parallel chains of pedals all patched into each other and stuff. And someone mentioned to me that you're trying to use pedals like a modular system. I didn't really know what they were talking about, because I thought modular was for bleep blurps and techno beats and sequencing and all that kind of stuff. But just quickly looking into it, I just realized a lot of the stuff I'm using in pedals is available in a modular system, and that gives me the advantage of compiling this huge pedal setup I had at the time, because I was locked at home and had my whole collection in front of me. I would never tour that many pedals, but I was getting used to having these parallel chains. So I thought, if I get a modular system, when I come out on the other end of the pandemic, I can have a more tight, compact system. So now I'm still doing 6 parallel chains, but I've all got it in one little case. Where was I getting to? Where was this story going? And so, and one of the things I started to explore in the modular system was taking my glass single and putting it for envelope followers, and which was something I was doing with the pedals with like filters that have envelope followers, and I used to love that. But now I discovered I could use those envelope followers to run my delays, to run my granular, to run again filters, and run basically anything within the system. So I was producing the sound, and I was producing the envelopes that controlled the sound or bent the parameters as I played. So if I played rhythmically, I could move the delays backwards and forwards with those rhythms, and I was getting really interesting results and absolutely adoring the system. But then my mind started thinking, okay, so I'm making the sound and the modulations. What happens if I brought in another musician to make those modulations for me? And my mind instantly turned to Zach, because I knew he's a phenomenal drummer and a complex drummer, and he could do really weird patterns and stuff. And I could take the hi-hat and have that run the feedback, and the toms and have that run the delay, while the snares, like switching up the filter or anything like that. It was basically, I could get his drum kit separated into separate envelope followers and have those envelope followers do different things within the system. So I contacted him, asked him if he was interested in doing it, and he said yes. And then at first we did the single, which came out to 2023, I think, where he sent stems to me. And we did that mainly to prepare to record together, so I could come up with a patch and make it work before we just did 2 days in the studio kind of thing. And so I did those recordings, and I sent them to him. And the next thing I know, he's made little video clips for them and put them up on TikTok. And so I thought he must like these results. So I said, do you like these enough to release them? Because I'm about to tour, and I wouldn't mind having something to sell on the road. So he said, yeah. So I put out the Never EP, or it's a 7-inch, but there's lots more tracks on the digital version. Unfortunately, my favorite tracks were really long and they didn't fit on the record. But anyway, I think it's a good record. But in that one, because I was using his stems, I also got my envelopes to control his drum sounds in a way. I had them ramping, so the speed of his drumming is based on the dynamics of my glass playing. So they're both our signals interpolating with each other on that record, which is not so much on the next one, because we played together live in LA to do the new record. And But again, like he's playing V drums. All these V drums are coming separately into my modular rig, and all his drums are controlling the sound of my glass in real time as we play. So there's a synchronicity between his playing and what's happening with my effects and the way my glass signal is being torn apart a bit. I guess that's probably a good segue into maybe having a listen.
Yeah, let's have a listen.
Bear in mind, I haven't heard any of this for a year, except for the Combat single that's been on the phones and things. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's play on Relatively Blind. Yet unheard. So this is not the one that's out currently. It's something of a premiere, I would say.
Well, Warp gave me a bunch of records to sell when I was in Europe, so there's a few copies floating out that I've already sold. So some people have heard them, but I think this will be the first time it's on radio.
Yeah, I'll take the radio premiere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is Figment 4 off of Bag of Max, Bag of Cass by Lucas Abela and Zach Hill, coming out tomorrow, Halloween, on Warp Records. You're listening to Mithril on FPR Radio 94.5. You're listening to Mithril on FPI Radio 94.5. I'm joined in the studio by Lucas Abela. We just played 2 tracks from his upcoming tomorrow, or potentially the day after because of time differences.
UK time.
That sort of thing. That was Hamartia off of the upcoming album. Before that we heard Figment 4, both of which are currently unreleased. But coming out soon on Bag of Max, Bag of Cass. You were talking a little off air about, I suppose, the process for recording with Zach, especially that it was largely improvised. I just wanted to ask a little bit about what that sort of looked like for the two of you.
Yeah, we recorded at David Scottzone's house. He's got a studio there. If people aren't familiar with David, I think he was involved with the Melvins at one point, and he was also anyway, it doesn't really matter. He's got a studio in his place, and we set up in his lounge room, Zach on the V-drums, modular kit, all these V-drums coming into the modular gear, and messing around with my glass sound. But it was all, we recorded over 2 days, 2 kind of maybe 8-hour days, I suppose, all improvised. So I guess the album has a similar feel all through, because of all similar setup. Like in between takes, I'd just move the parameters and the offsets, I guess, in a modular system. So when Zach's drum creates a control voltage and controls my granular system, for instance, I have an offset in it, and that offset will it would change where that envelope that Zach creates can move within that parameter of the effect. So in between each take, I'll change the offsets basically randomly. I'll just run into the system, turn them all around, and then go, and then we'll do another one, and then so yeah, you've got a similar vibe happening, but the sound palette changes a little from track to track based on those random decisions as we went.
Yeah, and did you find Zach's drumming was shifting in response to some of the changes you were making to the system?
Zach's actually an incredible improviser. He's got really, really good instincts for improvisation. I was quite surprised. I knew he was a very good technical drummer, which is something that I wanted from the experience, because I wanted these really complex patterns to be controlling the glass, but I didn't realize it'd be such a instinctual and have good listening skills, which is good for an improviser. A lot of improvisers, I don't know, you got 2 types of improvisers. I guess and people that lead and people that follow, and then there's people that are just too timid to do anything at all. And he was willing to lead, and he was willing to follow. He was, he would listen. He would find cues. He would notice when I was doing something with the glass and pull back and come in and all those kind of things. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and he's amazing to watch. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, having seen him live, like I can attest to that. I mean, you know, with death groups, but I would love to see the two of you play together sometime.
Yeah, hopefully that happens. Who knows? He's a busy man, and he's in the studio currently, and God knows when I'm ever going to get a chance. Like, ever since the album was announced, I keep getting offers for us to do festivals and whatever, and I keep writing to Zach and he's like, I've got a busy year. So I'm not sure when it could happen, but hopefully, like, you know, if there's a window and we're in the same country, and it might happen. But the tyranny of distance is not working for us. Like, I think if we were both in LA, that might be more on the cards than us living on other sides of the Pacific. But I know I'm currently trying to get another project together with Yvette up in Brisbane to do percussion in a similar vein, but I think it'll be a lot different because the percussive style will be quite different to Zach's. But yeah, I thought I would work with someone more locally in the ideas of getting a live project with this kind of interpolation idea. And with the new project, I'm hoping it to be more the interpolation moving both ways, where we're both making electronic sounds physically, but my signal is influencing hers and hers is influencing mine, and therefore we're influencing each other, and it becomes this kind of matrix of
kind of feedbacky potentially.
A lot of I don't think of feedback because we're creating envelopes that control effects, but those envelopes will be influenced by each other's sounds, so it will be constantly morphing. Like, I don't know. It's just, I have no idea how it's going to end up sounding, but I'm kind of excited about the prospect of interpolation going in two directions rather than the one direction we did in this record, because my sound's not necessarily influencing Zach's sound. It's just, you know, I wish
yeah, the two-way channel would be really interesting. I think I'd be curious to know what that sounds like.
Well, hopefully get this new project up and running. I guess she's in Brisbane. I should really work with someone in Sydney, but I know, like, we toured together in the US last year, and we became close friends. I like working with friends, and I need to have some kind of comfort. I'm not a very good collaborator in a lot of ways, but yeah, I like to enjoy the person and spending time with them. So I think Anyway,
awesome. Do we want to play a track?
I was talking to you before about DJ Smallcock. I guess when I first talked to Zach about doing this interpolation record, the first thing I did was started downloading pop stems, because I wanted Zach's drums to influence my sound. I thought, if I'm going to get a patch together, I'll start experimenting by getting the stems from pop songs to influence things in my modular system. But then I ended up just patching them together so they would influence the other parts of the stem. So the guitar track might be ramping and controlling the bass track, and the drums would be influencing each other, and the vocals, and all essentially the track's remixing itself. And it's auto remix, I suppose. Like, I have no influence over what it's doing besides, again, choosing the offsets and all those kind of things. This is a cover of Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran, done by having the stems mess with each other.
Awesome. You're listening to Mithril on FEI. You're listening to Mithril on FPI Radio 94.5 with the ongoing Lucas Abela interview slash program. It's been really fun. That track that we just heard was off of the album The Notorious Small by DJ Smallcock. The track was called I Like Wolves, which was possibly the most demented remix I've heard of Hungry Like the Wolf. Not sure that I've actually heard a remix of Hungry Like the Wolf, so it's
There must be some.
Oh, there must be, but that's certainly the most demented.
Yeah. I'd hope so. Actually, I don't think I've heard any remix. I don't know many people do Duran Duran remixes, which is quite strange. I know.
Yeah. But anyway, onto the next. You're speaking a little about the new album, Zero Love Given, by yourself, and sort of saying that the sound in the album sort of more closely reflects like your current approach to live performance, or the current sound, I suppose.
Yeah, well, like I started putting in after doing the DJ Smallcock material. I was set up to do a show in Brisbane when I was meant to do my set one night on the Gold Coast. The next day I was going to go up to Brisbane and do a DJ Smallcock set. So I had everything set up in the modular. But I decided to cancel the Brisbane show because we needed to get back to Sydney early. And so I had my sampler sitting there. And so mid-set, I decided to patch in, what was it? Soft Cell's Tainted Love, or the vocal of it, and then ramp it with the glass. Well, instead of like the Soft Cell music playing, and my music was playing, and and it combined, and it was fucking beautiful. I really just loved how it turned out and sounded, and then ever since after I went toured America, and I chose one pop song per show, and then when I got back, I recorded this, which was just again basically the vocal stem from various classic songs, some really old, some new, and then I had the glass, like I have them pitched down to a really slow speed, and then the glass kind of ramps it up into a kind of normal, almost normal speed, I suppose. But I guess someone said a vaporwave or something, but I don't know. I'm not that familiar with those genres, but someone's, they have their slowed down kind of vocal thing, but it's got the glass sound, and because spending time trying to manipulate the vocal, I get the actual things the glass is making in the background becomes quite more abstract and bizarre than what I would normally do, because I'm spending my brain's thinking about the vocal, and so the music becomes more abstracted, and I know, and the vocals have also helped me find emotion, because a lot of these songs I've chosen are personal favorites for my my teen years, I suppose. Some of them are more current, but and I don't know, like, it helps dig down something from in that respect. But so I did this album, and I'm quite happy with it, and hopefully I'll probably never be able to release it commercially, because it's just very, very, very famous people.
And it's out on Bandcamp and also physicals. Got CDs?
Yeah, I got a CDR of it. I did a limited edition of 80 of them. This first track's called Boy Turner, and I can't remember. I made up the titles as I was doing them, and I can't remember which one's which now. But I'll remember as soon as it starts.
Do you back every track as a play right now?
Huh?
No, I'm messing around.
Yeah.
If you don't remember the names, you're sort of happy with
again, these
whichever.
all improvised. They were improvised or done in one take, and then no mastering or mixing or anything up. Yeah, this
awesome.
Came out this way.
Yeah. Oh, Boy Turner by Lucas Abela, Granpa. You listen to Mithril on FBI.
Boy, you turn me inside out and running down. Instinctively, you give to me the love that I need. I cherish the moments with you. Respectfully, I say to thee, wherever you choose, would no one make me feel like you do. So good, boy, tell me inside out, running round, upside down. Boy, turn me inside out, running round. I know you got some and the feel. You always play the field. I'm crazy to think you are mine. As long as the sun continues to shine, there's a place in my heart for you. That's the bottom line. Upside down. Boy, you turn me inside out and round and round. Upside down. Boy, you turn me inside out and round and round. Instinctively, you give to me the love that I need. I cherish the moment with you. Respectfully, I say to thee, I'm aware that you're cheating, and no one makes me feel like you do. Oh, sour down, boy, you turn me inside out, round, upside down. Boy, you turn me inside out, round and round. Upside down, you're turning me.
You're giving up to think to me. Round and round, you're turning me. I say it is. Back to me. Upside down, you're turning me. You're giving up to think to me. Round, you're turning me. I say it is. Upside down, you're turning me. You're giving up to think to me. You're giving up, you're turning me. I say it is. Respectfully. Upside down, you're turning me. You're giving up instinctively. Now you're turning me. I say it is. Around and around. Upside down, you're turning me.
Respectfully, I said upside down, you're turning me. Giving love instinctively. Around and around, you're turning me. Upside down, you're turning me. Giving love instinctively. Down, make you give and blow, instinctively. Roll, you're turning me. Upside down, you're turning me. Giving love instinctively. Round, turn me. Upside down, you're turning me. You're giving love instinctively. Upside down, you're giving love instinctively. Round and round, you're Yeah.
Helpless and I'm lying like a child. There's nothing I can do but totally bruise of the heart. Once upon a time there was light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say, totally glimpse of the heart. Nothing I could do.
Always in the Dark by Granpa Lucas Abela. In the studio right now, still.
I'm still here.
He's-
I'm awake. I'm awake. Barely.
It's an endurance exercise tonight, but it's been fun. That track was off of the new album Zero Love Given by Lucas Abela. And it was really spooky, actually. Like, I think
Yeah, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Yeah, we were just saying it's kind of ticked over. I think I was making the comment that like the warped nature of that more than Lucas's more like frenetic, crazy noise, catharsis stuff kind of suits Halloween more, actually, in a way, because it's almost more like kind of
It's spooky and it's ghostly,
Yeah.
I guess.
yeah, ghostly for sure.
And I guess the pop vocal become as it's kind of warbled. Yeah, well, it is a dead voice, I guess. Being stretched over time. So
Yeah, it's fitting.
how scary is that?
Actually, before we teed this up, like I was kind of planning, like, oh, what do I play for Halloween? Like, oh, the show's kind of scary already, you know. It's, honestly, things have worked out really serendipitously, actually. And for those who've sort of tuned in more recently and didn't catch earlier, Lucas Abela in the studio now has an album coming out tomorrow. Well, actually today, but
Today,
potentially tomorrow, depending on the time zones.
UK time.
UK time, with Zach Hill of Death Grips and also of general, drumming acumen, fame. Coming out on Warp Records, which is so crazy, such a huge platform.
Yeah, never in my wildest dreams
Yeah, and yeah,
would have imagined. Yeah, it's utterly bizarre. Actually, I know, like, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I never signed a contract until recently. And the first contract, I'm a DIY or die kind of guy. But, book my own tools, do my own label, do all that kind of stuff, and I have done stuff on other labels, just but independent labels with handshake agreements or whatever. But it's the first time I had to sign something. But Warp are really, really actually cool that way. Like they only retain the rights to it for 10 years, and it comes back to us, which is I thought was great. What else? the deal's really quite decent. Like when they start selling a record, we get X amount of money. I don't know. I haven't seen any yet, but yeah, I've never seen a record contract before, but I always heard record contracts were these awful things that stole your soul. But this didn't read like that at all, and the fact that they they don't own it in perpetuity and all that kind of thing, like in 10 years' time, the masters are ours again and all that kind of thing. I thought it was very fair. And we also get the advantage of being on that on that platform and with that history. I've loved a lot of the things on Warp in the past. I'm not as familiar with their stuff these days, but I was listening to one of them recently. Was it Danny? What's his name?
Oh, Danny Brown.
Danny Brown. That's really, really good. The other one that's coming out after our record. Fantastic. Like I first heard of him like a lady I toured with from San Francisco had been doing some work with him, and I heard his name before, but I was really quite into that. And so they seem to still be a reasonably relevant label as well. They're not just like a dad label, I suppose.
Oh yeah, huge. Yeah, continuously putting out great music. So yeah, and actually we were talking like off air before a little around your views and potentially changing views about releasing music sort of over time.
Oh yeah, I was a live or die kind of guy. I always thought music was most important to me in a live setting, ephemerally enjoyed then and there and never to be experienced again. And then I guess I told you the story of COVID, and I guess after COVID I've been quite prolific with the recording side of things, and I know, I guess in a sort of sense of a way, I was looking back over my career, especially my live career, and the only documentation of that was completely random. Just if someone had recorded it off the desk, or someone had recorded it on a Zoom machine, or in the early days a Walkman or whatever was available, it's that. And like those documents were fine, but I kind of wish like some of my favorite shows actually still existed, even though I had this philosophy of ephemerality at the time. But now I know in hindsight I weirdly regret it, and I know it. And so now I've got a recording kit on my modular kit, and I'm documenting everything, so I've gone kind of 360 on that whole thing. But actually enjoying it, like I think listening, I don't painstakingly listen back to everything I do, but I'm listening back to it more, and it's giving me a better idea of how it comes across and what I can do differently, and I know it gives me more room to grow there. I know, but even in the past, I never rehearsed. The only time I ever played music was in front of people. From the first time I played glass until most of that 20 years, the only time when I bought a new pedal, I might fiddle at home for a bit and just get a sense of it before taking it on the road. But most of my evolution with the glass was done as a shared experience with people. Every technique I developed, every new sound, like I'd find sounds in the moment that I'd never heard before, and I'm playing them with you. And I always loved that about it. I love the idea of improvisation that was in sense free, like free of thought and free of pre-thought, I guess. Like I didn't want to deliver something that I meticulously put together over time and then pretend I'm improvising it. I always just liked to be in the moment and make things up. And so when you finding sound in the moment on stage with people, I think it's a far greater experience, and I don't know, it's something I enjoyed, and it was very important to me, I suppose. And yeah. So I still have that philosophy, and I still am discovering things in a live setting, but I am playing and rehearsing at home more and recording at home. Like all those tracks from the album recorded at home rather than live. Even though I've also put out since then every single track from the European tour that I just finished, and I've also on the subscriber base you can not only get all the tracks that I recorded, I've published all the stems as well. So just you can use that for remixing, or you can use it for pulling out samples. You can do whatever you want with it. So yeah, I've got my current setup is 6 parallel stereo chains. So all those separated chains are available on my subscriber Bandcamp. Or so I've gone from not recording and releasing to like giving you everything. And I mean everything. Every time I do a show, I get home and I upload the track and the stems. They're all there. And not even like I think most the Tote show I did up the day is not subscriber, and you can listen to the live set, and you can listen to all the stems separately, and you can do whatever you want with them. And so my philosophy's changed.
And you can find all of that, stems and all, on Bandcamp, granpa.bandcamp.com. Granpa with no D. So
no D.
Granpa.
It's Gran and Pa. It's kind of like about 2008, I was hanging out with my partner and we were playing with some children, not randomly, but my friends' family's kids, at their house, and I left to get something from the car, and one of the kids turns to my partner and goes, "Where'd your grandpa go? Where'd your grandpa go?" Oh, that wasn't really their voice. That's more like a Faulty Towers kind of. Anyway, and then my partner Keg was going, "Oh, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking." And I come back in the room. There's your grandpa. There's your grandpa. And since then, I've been kind of affectionately known to my friends as Grandpa, and so more recently I've taken it on professionally. As I kind of leaning into my old age, I thought I'd use it as a moniker, and I was starting to tire of the Justice Yeldham name and other things, and I also wanted to signify the change between the pedals and the modular, so I wanted to give the project a new name and signify a new era, I suppose, in the modern vernacular. And so I'm now Grandpa, but I spell it Gran and Pa. I know it's just a way of, I don't know, taking the grand out of it. I don't know, it's just I don't,
It's a little like kind of kid-like, a little bit. Well, I mean, it's literally, as you say, like a kid saying it.
It's kid-like. I tried to make a non-gender specific honorific, I guess. It's a non-binary honorific. I know Grandpa, but I didn't want to have the grand in that. Anyway, so my mother's known to my child as Gran, and then I just and then Pa is a Pa, so it's put the together. Anyway, it was trying to play on that in some way. I don't know, but it's if that makes any sense.
Anyway, well, at grandpa.bandcamp.com, all the stems, all the recordings. Certainly, I personally haven't listened to the one from the Toad yet, so I'm keen to.
It also has all my label, Jewel Plover, except for any artists that have their own Bandcamps aren't on there. But most of that stuff happened in the 90s and thousands, and some of them aren't active anymore, and so they weren't on Bandcamp. So I took the liberty to upload this stuff, but it's all available for free, or you may donate. So my whole history back from my first album, A Combi in '96, and everything Jewel Plover did, and all it's a shit ton of music there, I guess.
Awesome. Should we play another track from today's album?
Yeah. Let's leave on that. Just pick another one at random.
Let's do it. Yeah. So, for those who've just tuned in, Lucas Abela with Zach Hill of Death Grips, with a track off of today's upcoming album. This is Nephillm P. You're listening to Mithril on FPI, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
You're listening to Mithril on FBI Radio 94.5. The last 2 minutes of Mithril, we're getting in quick. You've been here with myself, Rana Rock, and Lucas Abela for the last 2 hours, listening to all things Lucas Abela's, recent releases, but also upcoming releases. That track just then was
eminently upcoming.
Yeah, eminently upcoming. It's soon. Yeah, it's really on the eve. It was a fantastic song. It's called Nephillm P, off of the album with Zach Yeldham of Death Grips.
Yeah, say the title because I can't remember it.
The title is I keep forgetting it because it's like a tongue twister from it. It's called Bag of Max, Bag of Cass.
I need to ask Zach what the hell that means.
So, was this largely Zach's conception? Would you say?
He titled the album and all the tracks. Yeah, as I said, I left it with him, and then it came back with these words attached to them. And,
you were sort of broadly happy.
Oh yeah. It's I love it. Like even the album. I think he did the album cover on his phone. I think he just pictures he cut together on a phone picture editing.
Can I say, like, the album cover looks like nothing like how it sounds?
Yeah.
It's quite like it could be like a indie cover or something. Like
it was not what I was expecting. Because I know I think he does all these album covers for Death Grips and stuff. And I was expecting something along those veins, and then it's. I like it. I mean, I'm getting used to it, I suppose. But
it kind of creates a nice contrast with the music, I think. Yeah. Okay, but we've got about 30 seconds left in the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
You can find more of Lucas Abela's music on Granpa with no D .bandcamp.com, and also coming out very, very soon on Warp Records, like today. Head over to Warp Records, add it to your wish list. You'll be quickly rewarded. Brand new album. Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, I'm going to close the show now with a track from something that I was playing at the start of the show, so I'm kind of bookending it a little here.